Link, but he's not an Atlanta Falcons coach anymore. So it speaks for itself.
Well, I think too a little bit of it too, and to kind of take it a little bit further, I guess, with Cox being gone and him promoting his secondary coach into that, it's almost like he's bringing guys in. He's wanting to bring folks into more of kind of an entry level thing, and then bring them up to speed to make sure that they're going to buy into the system that he's wanting to do. And almost trying to create his own little, and eventually have his own coaching tree, just like where he came from.
Right.
So,
right.
I mean, as far as that goes, and like what he was saying a while ago, recruiting Cox's son for Florida, yes, you have to make good with mom and dad, but at the same time, you're trying to make that program better. He's 2 programs beyond that since then. So.
Right.
And that,
I'm just asking if that count for something, but I mean, I'm just asking. Phone number for the show is 470-308-5904. You listen to 100 Yards from Body this morning here on 104.9 The Peach and 1120 WXJO AM. Let's move on as we're going to continue to talk about the NFL. Okay, final question about the Atlanta Falcons and Super Bowl 51. So we're talking about their defense. You think over the next couple of seasons with the young players they have, and Vic Beasley, Jalen Collins, Robert Alford, and then hopefully with them returning there's some true fun, y'all think this defense could be, and then Grady Jarrett, I think has an opportunity being one of the top D tackles in the game. Y'all think this Falcon defense has a chance of being in the top 5 in the next few years?
Well,
consistently.
Isn't the average age of the whole defense running at 23?
Yeah, yes sir.
They have no. I mean, it's natural. They should, as long as barring no major injuries, you would think.
Right. I believe Atlanta will have a top 5 defense, given the fact that, like you said, Grady Jarrett, to me, stepped out. I would think it would have been Rashid Hageman who would have stepped out and had a ball game like Grady Jarrett did, but Grady Jarrett showed me that, hey, they're stocked defensively on the defensive line with him. He's quick, he's fast, he's a beast. You got Jalen Collins, who is growing into his own on the cornerback position. You have Robert Alford.
Well, back up now, Jalen Collins, to me, still have a long way to go. Watch you.
He does, but he also made key plays. And if you go back to that Green Bay game, he had the strip fumble in the Green Bay game. Jalen Collins, he made some big plays, even though he was challenged a lot.
Okay, but when you say Jalen Collins, and we talking about young corners, I know you bring the fire today, but I just don't want you to start going in and talking about Jalen Collins being a Marcus Peters. Okay, see, I don't want you going down that road.
Well,
and that's just what I'm saying. See, that's what you came with some philosophy there. Like Jalen Collins going to be a Pro Bowl corner.
But he comes from LSU, though. So anything that comes from LSU from the defensive side of the ball can play some football.
There you go.
Can't you go? Hey, everybody gonna agree with that?
I mean, I agree. I think that we got some really good young talent. And
okay, I'm gonna ask this question. We're gonna be controversial today here on Young Foot. I like this.
No problem.
Okay, Jalen Collins, he came from LSU, correct? All I'm saying is, Mr. Flanagan. See, we're gonna butt heads and look like from here on out doing this draft process in football. All I'm saying, and here you go again with the New England Patriots hat on, man. I gotta watch that all day. All I'm saying, don't y'all be talking about Jalen Collins all of a sudden in the same realm of Marcus Peters. That's all I say.
Nobody put him in that realm. I mean, he's young and he can develop into something. His development from year 1 to now has been tremendous to me. I thought they might have overreached with him. I thought that, he went too high in the draft. I thought all of that. But after seeing him play this season and a half or so, I would say he's going to develop into a really, really nice cornerback. Somebody that, in the mold that Dan Quinn kind of wants that.
And I'm going to bring up, before we go to the phone answer, Nadine. Mr. Flanagan, you brought up LSU, and I'm a Cowboys fan. Mo Claiborne has stole money from us since he's been here. I'm going to go to the phone answer today.
Easy. Matt Ryan gonna get his. We ain't tripping about him. We gonna take care of these other people this next season and a half, and then like I said, we'll move some money around if we have to, and we'll be all right.
I'm gonna watch what I really say real carefully today here on 100 Yards for Bob, because I don't want Coach Smith to go ballistic on me this morning, because we had some very heated playoff talks because my Dallas Cowboys didn't make it, and I'm trying to stay off that edge. Well, I don't want anybody here, Falcon fans, Mr. McKerney, Ken looking at me with them eyes, and Mr. Smith going ballistic this morning here on 100 Yards. But you know I want to get y'all this morning. Phone number is 470-308-5904. You listen to 100 Yards before we go to the break. The final topic before we go to break: who might leave in free agency for the Atlanta Falcons that you think will really hurt their football team? Dance from Trufant want his money. Dance from Trufant want his money.
But Desmond, they're going to take care of Desmond.
So you're going to be paying two corners, big time money.
They're enough under the cap where they can afford to do that. They can take care of both of who they need to take care of, and
Chris Chester leaving, starting offensive guard.
it'll be fine. We'll find somebody for him because he's a little longer than tooth anyway. It's about that time.
Let me ask you this: are y'all? And I'm gonna ask this final question before we go to break. Julio Jones obviously is a tremendous football player. I think Julio's fought injuries over the years. To me personally, the Falcons need another receiver to come in and really give them some help. I know Mohamed Sue, to me, is a guy that, he gonna give you quality, he gonna be productive, but is he that explosive guy that you need at a number 2? Is Justin Hardy gonna come back and be that guy he was this season? Taylor Gabriel. Are those the type of players, or do you go out and draft you a young stud in the draft, or you get somebody for age? Because down the road, Julio Jones is going to need some help at that number 2. I'm saying maybe a player similar to Roddy White later on in his career. What do y'all feel about that?
I think we're cool at the receiver spot. I could see us going to draft one maybe 5th or 6th round, and or picking up somebody in free agency, but that's not a position of dire need for the Falcons. When you spread the ball around 13 people, touchdown 13 different players, it's not. Then you got Julio, but everybody else, Julio's David Ruffin. Everybody else gonna play their role and dance in the background like Temptations. So we don't need another Julio. We got Julio and we got Sanu who does a great job, and I think he's a great number 2. That pressure, you got to think, when he was in Cincinnati, he had AJ Green was hurt a good bit, so Sanu had to step up and be the man a lot. So now he can play that number 2 role, and there ain't really no pressure.
But I'm gonna disagree with you to a certain extent. Sanu played very well in Cincinnati, but they had that young man that went on and got some money from Detroit. Marvin Jones was playing real well. Mm-hmm. So they had 3 good receivers. All I'm saying, Julio, man, had a very serious injury. Let's don't fake that. The guy's got a turf toe, man. And it's a lot of players, not discount what you saying, Coach Mill, but it's a lot of players don't bounce back from that. And what I'm hearing is he's gonna have surgery and be out 6 months? Is that a rumor? I mean,
it's a rumor. It's possible that he may have to have surgery. I don't think they've come concrete yet to say that he is going to have it, or that if he isn't, I don't think. But if he does, that's going to put him behind some. So they would need some help at a number 1 receiver.
Yeah, I think as a coordinator myself, I never try to pass judgment on play calling.
I got a major question for you, because I know right now you're moving up in the coaching ranks. I'm just going to put it out there. Coach Smith is one of the outstanding young talents in this area and in the state of Georgia. I'm asking you, in that situation that Mike just brought up, everybody out there, even blind Stevie Wonder, can see that we should be running the ball in that situation right there. Even if you take 3 knees, what was the field goal try? 39 yards? Mm-hmm. Take me back. You call plays. What's Kyle Shanahan thinking at that point? Is it something he's seeing when he's throwing the football? Is it a coverage, or is it a different defense? What's happening here?
Originally, I had the same mentality. What are we doing? But then when you think about it, that's what they did all year long, and he kind of went against my judgment all year. the whole season, it would be times where I felt like we should have been running the ball, or we would run the ball and I would say run it again, but we wouldn't, you know. But then it would benefit us. That's the kind of offense we played all year, you know. So you dance with the girl that you brought, you know. So he kind of kept doing what they've been doing all year. But I think at that type of game, in that situation, you gotta play the situation. You gotta make the changes that you might have to make. You can't really approach it like you've approached it all year long. You know, you got 8 minutes on the clock. You know, one drive and you Super Bowl champion. So you have to adjust your philosophy a little bit. So I think he got caught up in doing what he normally does. And I don't think there was anybody on the sideline, whether it be Dan Quinn, whoever the case may be, who somebody should have stepped in and approached it. I'll tell you like this. At the end of the games like that, what I'll do as a coordinator, I'm up in the booth, is I'll ask my head coach, what are we doing? Mm-hmm. You know, so if offense is getting ready to get on the field, I ask the head coach, what are we doing? What's your philosophy? How do you want me to approach this series? So if he say let it go, then we're gonna run our offense. If he say let's eat this, he'll say something. Let's get this clock moving. I know we need to run the ball, keep the clock moving. Mm-hmm. To me, it seemed like that kind of conversation didn't take place between Kyle Shanahan and Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn being a defensive mind, he already knows that his defense been on the field the whole second half. So to me, if they'd had any kind of conversation, he would have.
So what you saying right now? What you believe that the head coach and offensive coordinator really wasn't communicating at that time?
I don't think they could have been. I don't think they could have been. I mean, in hindsight, yes, 2020, you want to say, you know, that Dan Quinn might have possibly told him, you know, do what we've been doing. But I find that hard to believe that Dan Quinn, who was in his third Super Bowl in 4 years, who has the coaching experience of being in those type of games, I find it hard to believe that they had a conversation and he didn't remind them of the situation. And you look at it, we were snapping the ball with 19 seconds on the clock. And this is a veteran quarterback. You know, Matt Ryan's a heady guy. So that there couldn't have been a mutual conversation between the head coach coordinator, between head coach quarterback, between coordinator quarterback. It seemed like nobody was talking.